Let's leap into an awesome year of crazy plants!
Aloha, y'all, and welcome to the Leap Year 10 at 10. It is leap year. It's February 29th of 2024, guys. You got a whole extra day this month to buy plants. If your spouse has already told you no more shopping, leap year don't really count. It only comes around every 4 years. This one's a bonus.
Y'all, I'm Tim. It's my brother Matt. We're gonna talk about 10 trees getting listed today at 10 a.m. There's gonna be 20 getting listed, so check out your email. Guys, we're gonna start out today with Eastern Pomatum Mikazuki. Selection by Talon Buchholz, named after the Ghost series. And it's one of the first trees that don't have that ghost name on it, that have that reticulation. Introduction by Talon Buchholz. The name means crescent moon because it has this really funky leaf shape. It goes to yellows and oranges in the fall.
Hey, if you're looking for a tree named by somebody, a tree named by Talon Buchholz, pretty good place to start. He's named some of the best trees in the trade. Mikazuki is one of those first ones that didn't have that Ghost series in the title. So kind of think of it a little bit like the Ghost series. That crescent moon aptly describes that leaf shape because the leaf shape has more elongated foliage, sharp, kind of sickled out foliage to it. I love this one, especially in the early spring. If you're giving it more sunlight, get a little bit more purplish, metallic-y color to it. If you're giving it more shade, you get a little bit more pink and white. It's really funky. Absolutely love Mikazuki. And I also like that it's a good grower too. Typically at around 10 foot in 10 years. Absolutely beautiful shape to it. Check out Mikazuki on MrMaple.com today. And remember, it's leap year, none of these count. So if your spouse says you bought too many trees, say this is a bonus tree. There's no such as February 29th.
So guys, next up we've got Eastern Pomatum Frosted Purple.
Another one from those new ghosts. We keep bringing those new ghosts. Our goal is to make every Area 51 and every Buchholz introduction from the Flora Wonder collection available as frequently as possible. Frosted Purple, probably one of the most sought after of those new ghosts. This one really brings it with those lavender frosted shades of purple, especially in the early springtime. Probably one of my favorite overall shades for a reticulated form in early spring. This one just looks so next level.
I like this most during the summer. I mean, that purple's starting to fade a little bit and you get lime green veins throughout this tree. It is outstanding during that time of the season. It has the most color contrast, giving more of that frosted appearance on Frosted Purple. Such a really fun new tree, one of the best of the new ghosts. It has a really nice upright form and some outrageous colors.
You're gonna love Frosted Purple in your collection. Get that whole new ghost, make a series out of that. I have a ghost garden I'm building. I gotta get me a new ghost collection all the way completed in the garden as well. All right, another Talon Buchholz introduction. We're like a broken record here, guys. We're bringing back Yellow Threads. It is an insane Talon Buchholz introduction.
It's crazy. We talked so much about his introductions ever before we ever bought Buchholz Nursery.
We talked them up, man, because we loved them before that. I mean, honestly, I never expected to get Talons going into last year, but these were some of my favorite plants independent of that. One of my favorite things, I always tell people this, is that MrMaple and Buchholz Nursery are completely independent farms. So we can do whatever we want. So if we want to grow Yellow Threads, if we want to go down a rabbit hole and grow 20 varieties of Scoochii, that's what we get to do that year. There's no corporate marching orders for us. We just kind of do what excites us here. Yellow Threads, I think you're going to get excited about this one in your garden.
This is a lunar lobum, so it has that strap leaf style foliage. And this has some of the best yellow color of any of the strap leaves. It's sort of breaking the mold of what strap leaves are, the lunar lobum styles, because there's nothing else that has the yellow color like Yellow Threads does. And this one can really put some really nice yellow-green colors out there and has some good fall colors of oranges to reds. We did a great cultivar highlight on this at Maplewood Gardens. You need to go check that out too. You can actually see this tree in full leaf, looking amazing with that yellow-green color just shining in the light.
This one brings it so much for what a lunar lobum style Japanese maple can do. I love that highlighter yellow. I've talked about it every time I say this one, but I love to pair it with something like Punkill. I love lunar lobums. They have that every essence I love about Japanese gardening, about like basically that whole Asian garden feel of like bamboo, but with a Japanese maple that gives you that ever-changing beauty of a maple so you get every single season. There's just something relaxing. I've got a big Beni Otaki outside my porch, and there's just something like so relaxing, and just the whole world drifts away when you're watching a lunar lobum blow around the wind. It just has that relaxing quality to it. You're going to love Yellow Threads in your garden. It is one of the most premium, interesting lunar lobum Japanese maples.
And it has more of that Villa Toronto-esque style shape too. So it's a little bit shorter, get some nice width to it, and some good color. You're gonna love yellow threads.
So remember, if yellow threads leaps into your cart today, it doesn't really count. The spouse kit, it's a bonus day for plants. Anything that happens on leap year doesn't really count toward your whole plant purchases. You can say, hey honey, today didn't even really exist.
Guys, we have our Spring Fling open house coming up April 5th and April 6th. You're gonna wanna be there. We're gonna have a lot of cool people here and a lot of cool plants. It's always a fun time here. We've got food trucks, we got coffee, unique coffee truck. We've got the Groovy Grease Wagon back on Friday. Guys, it's gonna
be a talk show, a game show.
Game show.
Maybe we'll make a dating show. Maybe we'll make a real spring fling. We'll make Mr. Maple Love Connection. You come here, we'll hook you up with somebody, a cup of coffee and a tree. What do you think?
I don't know if that'll work as well as the game show.
Well, think about it. You know, it's good to date a plant collector.
Anyways, you're gonna want to be there. Check out the full details on MrMaple.com. Guys, next up we've got Acer Ceboldianum, Kumoy Nishiki, in some good sized 1 gallons.
We talk about Kumoy Nishiki a lot. I love this plant. The variegation is really interesting. It has that swirling style variegation to it. It's an Acer Ceboldianum, so it's very cold tolerant. Absolutely adore what this one brings to the table. One of the most interesting variegated plants I think of all time.
I like it just because it's that full moon style foliage, the swirling white creamy variegation in there. You get some different shades of green sometimes in there, so it's not just green and white. You often can get some creamy whites, then some creamy greens and greens in there. And then in the fall,
two greens.
You can. And then you can also get some really nice yellows and oranges in the fall.
Awesome plant to be growing. Acer Ceboldianum, Kumoy Nishiki. Leap into your box today at MrMaple.com. Leap year deals. This is an insane plant, guys. This thing is so cool. We were one of the first nurseries to get to offer this one. We have a hidden video Tim never released. We need to drop your video where you went up to the Daweswood Arboretum. You can watch old school Tim videos with a cell phone. It's hidden on our channel. Maybe we'll drop it for this release. Daweswood Tawny Fleece. This is an incredible Dawn Redwood that has some different genetics than most in the trade.
Yeah, I really like this because the Daweswood Arboretum, the Dawes Arboretum went out and did a new collection of Dawn Redwoods. Basically, all the Dawn Redwoods genetics came from one collection years ago from this one valley, because originally they thought this tree was extinct. The Dawes Arboretum went back there, did another collection, and that's where they planted this huge grove of Dawn Redwoods out. And they started seeing all these different traits. And then this was a witch's broom on one of those trees with different traits. So this has longer needles, a dense compact habit, and some awesome bronze color.
Absolutely fun plant to be growing. Makes a perfect pairing with Sherman's Nordlich. It's like the orange version of that. Now, that leaf does look more tough, more fluffy. It's got more elongated leaves, so the leaves look very different in the landscape as far as the texture. Absolutely cool plant. You kind of get a little bit of fall color going on, especially in the spring. The whole plant and sun can be a real nice bronze orange hue. I absolutely love this plant. It is so unique. The late great Tom Cox, we sent him one of these early on. He was like over the moon when he saw we got this from the Daweswood Arboretum. Originally, we just had it listed as Daweswood WB, so you may see some of the old collections got it that way. The Daweswood Arboretum did finally name it Daweswood Tawny Fleece, so that's the name we have on it. We got to grow this one early, and it is a showstopper. If you have a Sherman's Nordlich, you got to get one of this witch's brooms to pair with it. It is a phenomenal plant.
And if you've got the wetter place in your garden where you can't grow a Japanese maple, you can actually grow a Dawn Redwood in that same place and add an ornamental appeal. It can go in the dry spots too, but you can actually use this where you can't grow a Japanese maple. So think about doing that.
Check it out today on Mr. Maple. This one might just have to leap into your box and leap into your garden and leap into your heart.
Guys, next up, we got Grandma Ghost. This is a classic selection by Talon Buchholz, one of the first of the Ghost series, and it is outstanding. I mean, it's got that in the original Ghost series, creamy white foliage, green veins on it. Pretty good form to it too.
Incredible member of the Ghost series. Now, I used to answer the phones before we hired Miss Jody, so I used to take all the phone calls, and I had someone call and they ordered a Grandma Ghost. Ended up talking to them for about 15 minutes, and I said, hey, what do you need the tree for? And they said a memory tree. So I don't know if they're trying to bring Grandma back. A little more of a joke there, but that was a true story. They totally bought a Grandma Ghost as a memory tree. Absolutely love Grandma Ghost, though. It is a fun plant. The colorations on this one are outstanding. That whole Ghost series is super interesting. Again, we've been offering a lot of those Ghost series this spring, leading up to people being able to have the entire collection. We absolutely love the Ghost series. It's something we bring back as frequently as possible.
Yeah, it's one of those cool plants you can put in a shadier spot in the garden. It'll brighten it up with its white reticulation. and it'll hold that reticulation longer throughout the season. Excellent tree, really good colors.
If you're gonna get haunted by a ghost, a grandma one's a pretty good one. And like, my grandma made great sandwiches. I love my grandma. That wouldn't be too scary. All right, guys, we're dropping in on Ruby Ridge.
Y'all, this is a selection that was found by Dan Himes, introduced through Buckholtz Nursery.
He's the owner of Terra Nova, good friend of ours. Check out his podcast.
And he travels to Japan. He loves Japanese maples. And Dan's just a cool guy. Ruby Ridge was a chance seedling that he found. He thought it was likely from a seedling batch that came from J.D. Veritrees. And it's got that kind of rugose kind of things to it. It's likely a seedling from rugose is what I would think.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the few trees that has this almost extra genetics to it. Thicker leaf, thick trunks. I mean, rugose and Ruby Ridge are some of the only ones that sort of have that kind of color.
The leaf is very thick. It's leathery. It's got a whole different texture than most of the other Japanese maples. And it just may have more ploidiness going on to it. It's very interesting because of that. It's short, it's stumpy. It's got a lot of interesting traits to it. The foliage itself is very large, but it's very thick. I absolutely love everything about this plant. I think it's so unique, so interesting. Great fall colors too. It's going to go from this dark, almost black red to a yellow golden orange color, which is really nice in the fall. I absolutely love this one. And I didn't even get to ask Dan when he was in our podcast about playing harmonica for Charlie Daniels Band. How did I forget to ask him about that? Super interesting guy. Definitely check out our podcast with Dan Himes here on the Mr. Maple Show.
It's kind of cool though, because J.D. Veritrees used to sell his seedlings to a local grocery store where Dan would shop. And how cool that have been to go through and buy some J.D. Veritrees seedlings. And that's how this tree originated. Guys, soon we may start offering in the next few years seedlings from the Buckholtz farm. So keep an eye out for that.
That'll be something coming for sure. Thank you, Vanna. Let's get a round of applause for Joe over here.
Guys, next up, we've got Hydrangea Aadama.
This is a sick, nasty hydrangea. This thing is cool. I say that in the highest of compliments. I love the foliage. I love the bloom color. It's got everything you want in a hydrangea.
Aadama means red ball. It's because you got these big, huge red blossoms on this thing, and you've got deep maroon foliage on this. It is an outstanding hydrangea. Really add something new to the hydrangeas, giving you good color on the foliage and an awesome bloom.
Put this out near Little Honey, or just plant this near your summer gold. Like, the color contrast is going to be incredible. I love when hydrangeas have a leaf color as well. It adds to the texture of the garden. It adds everything going on. And that flower is just a bonus. But this is a great one for cut flowers. Absolutely love Aadama. I think you're going to love this one too if you try it in your garden. Excellent looking 1 gallon, shipping out right now. We're always bringing those flowering contents back, guys. So there's a lot of fun plants like that make their way onto these 10 at 10s. Sometimes they're snuck in the other 10. So there's actually 20 trees listing today at 10. Make sure to check your email for the full lineup. The ones on the table today, we're just talking about 10 of them. There's a secret 10 you're going to have to check that email for.
And guys, next up, we've got Acer Pomatum Lemon Lime Lace High Grafted.
Lemon Lime Lace is a great plant. This one has some really nice chartreuse. It's like the Sprite. It's got the lemon, it's got the lime. You get the yellow, you get the lime green color going on. Exceptional golden yellow fall color. Really nice soft lime green in the early spring as well. Gives it a very elegant look to this tree. It looks very dainty, but don't be fooled. Lemon Lime Lace, very durable, very tough plant. Grows great in the south even, zones 5 through 9. And it handles a good bit of sun up to that zone 8, making it a great container plant.
That lemon lime new growth coming across on top of the green, it's pretty showy. And it just constantly keeps giving you that lemon lime color. Awesome tree to put out there in the garden. Different from your waterfall and your very clearly. And can contrast so well with many of your dark foliage Japanese maples.
Hey, if you're a plant collector and are looking for more green lace leaves in your collection, you gotta have a lemon lime lace. Absolutely awesome plant. Low and spreading, typically 4 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet wide. Low umbrella habit to this one. Some good size 1 gallons. They're high grafted about right in here. Check out lemon lime lace today on the 10 at 10.
Guys, last on the table today, but not least, we got Acer Pomatum Manny no Sato.
And remember, it's leap year, so if you purchase Manny no Sato today, it doesn't count if your spouse says you can't get any more plants. It's a free day. It's a free day. You can do whatever you want and say, hey, it's not even real.
So Manny no Sato is a selection by Yataka Tanaka at Tsukasa Maple in Japan.
It's a pretty good one.
It's a green with a lime green variegation on it. It's one of the most outstanding variegations and one of the most uniquely styled variegated Japanese maples that I know of. This tree can end up getting about 5 to 6 feet tall in 10 years. Gets very dense, outstanding, gives you some nice yellows to oranges in the fall. It continues to put on a show each and every part of the season.
Very underrated for its size. I mean, the variegation's what everybody thinks about because the color on this is outstanding. I say this every time I talk about Benny Sheehan or Manat Sato, but I hear Jimi Hendrix music. It looks like Jimi Hendrix music when I hear this, when I look at this leaf. It's funky, it's purple, it's swirling, it's got, you know, white striations going all through it. It's psychedelic, it's everything I want in a Japanese maple variegation. We've got some great sizes in this one. It's actually a slower grower, like Tim was saying. I think it's underrated for its size. It tends to be multi-stemmed and dense and small. So it's a variegated plant. You can get out there. It's not going to eat up your whole landscape. You could put this one in a small container or a smaller spot in the garden. Manat Sato, though, it completely brings it for the drama in that garden. I love that blackish, dark maroon red with that like neon green to yellowish variegation on it. Absolutely outstanding.
I think the name actually means like village of 10,000 leaves. It's because each and every leaf is so different. This makes it a photographer's delight. You'll often see on MrMaple when there's a tree that's variegated that all the leaves are always different. They're so fun to photograph. And you'll see that we have tons of photos of this tree on MrMaple because of it. An outstanding tree, and a tree you'll love to photograph as well.
Cue the Jimi Hendrix music. You can play some Voodoo Child. You can play Red House. This fits in just exactly when I hear Red House, when I look at this, I hear Red House riffs from Jimi Hendrix. Perfect tree. So guys, this is our 10 at 10 for leap year 2024 today. Remember, it doesn't count if you purchase any of these today. Somebody will not be mad at you for getting too many plants because the 29th doesn't count toward your yearly plant acquisition. So just tell them, hey, it doesn't matter, it doesn't count.
Take care
God bless.
and have a great day.